Hello, good evening everybody. We're going to start today with standing. Up and down and down. Lovely, and release. Now just turning to one side, making sure you've got space behind you. Just make little circles. And as we do that, we're not rotating too far around, so we're keeping the rotation more in the shoulder joint, shoulder down, away from the ears. Change the direction. Lovely. And then let's turn the other way. Circling. Change the direction. Breathing. Let's soften the knees as you turn. Lovely. And release. Okay. And then we'll just take our feet wide. Right arm up, stretching down. That's the wrong way. Left arm up, stretching down the right leg. Right arm up, stretching down the left leg. Just feel that stretch up that left side. And then we'll just go a little bit wider with the feet. Bend the knees, elbows on the knees. And then we're going to move the weight over to that right knee, getting a stretch in the inner thigh. Breathing. If you're able to, you can take the hands all the way down to the floor. Changing direction. So we're bending that left knee, elbow on the knee, feeling that stretch down the inner right leg. If you can take the hands down. And then if you have got your hands down, walking back to the first side. Otherwise, just switch to the other knee. And then second side again. Lovely. And then coming to the center, just bend your knees a little bit, bring your hands on your knees, and we're just going to push up to come up to standing. Okay, so let's start off going down the mat with the feet hip distance, and we'll bring about 3/4 down, and having your chair in front of you, we're taking the right foot forward. No, we're not. We're taking the left foot forward, right foot back, and we're just going to hinge into our triangle pose and bring the arm up. So we're wanting to keep both sides of the waist the same length. So it may be that you need to have your hand higher. But if you can keep going, some of you can get your hand down and you can go lower. Trying to keep both legs straight, putting the weight into that back leg. Breathing. That's nice, Ruth, lovely, good. Heels on you. So let's do a couple more breaths. And now we're going to take that into reverse triangle. So turning to face our chair, you might want to bring your back foot in a little bit and square up your hips to your chair. Leave your right hand on the chair. We're turning in the other direction. Now you may need to have your hand high. Try and keep both feet on the floor. Keep that back heel down. If you can get lower, then working your way down. Nice straight spine, but your spine's stacked, but you're rotating on the spine, around the spine, like a corkscrew. Breathing. Lovely. And then taking the hands back on the chair, both feet parallel. And then we're going to take our left foot back, keep the right foot forward. And we'll do trikonasana now on the right side. So we're hinging from the top of the right leg. Just have the hand where you need it. If you need to be higher, that's fine. If you can go lower, then that's great too. But make sure that you keep both sides of the waist long. That top side of the waist is long. Taking both hands back onto the chair, turn your back foot so your hips are squaring up to your chair, and we're going to leave that left hand where it is and take that left hip, rotating it around to the right. So we're in our reverse position. Keep that back heel pressed firmly on the floor. You may need to have your hand higher. That left hand might need to be higher and you're able to get round. So you probably feel that strongly in the back leg, in the back calf. Breathing. Nice, and then take your hands back on the chair and we'll just do uttanasana. So start off a little bit farther from your chair, feet hip distance, so that when you bend forward, you're getting a nice long line through your spine. You can use something, you can have a cushion or something on your chair, so when you bend forward, your forehead touches, and then you can think about lengthening your forehead away, so you're getting a nice long spine. And let's just come up a little bit and thinking about, see if you can get your sternum to come forward, shoulders away from your ears. So you're taking that stretch into the upper back. Yeah, that's it. Breathing. Breathing. And then let yourself hang forward again. Just wherever it feels comfortable for you. Thinking about sliding the forehead away. Some of you, I know, can reach the floor and just hang. Backs of the hands on the floor. And then to come up, just bend your knees, bring that sternum forward again, take your hands behind your back and come up. Great. No, I need a bit more space here. Okay, so coming down the mat again. Three-quarters down the mat. Feet hip distance. So we'll take the right foot forward and keep the left foot back. And then we're going to square up our hips, bend the front knee, and bring the arms up. So we're doing warrior one. That's lovely. Just going to move my mat. And then coming down. Lovely. And then change sides. So feet parallel, left foot forward, right foot back, square up your hips. We're bending the front leg. Strong leg, strongly press back into the back leg. Bring the arms up, shoulders down. And release. Coming up. Okay, so we're going to do that again, but we're going to take it into a balance. So just do what you can. And if you've got your chair there, you can always land on the chair. So feet hip distance, we're towards the end of the mat. Bring our right foot forward. We'll just, left foot back, and then we're going to just bend that right knee. Transfer your weight. Now rotate your foot, so you're coming up onto the ball of the back foot, and then we're going to transfer our weight to the standing leg and just have the hands behind you. See if you can balance, and if possible you might be able to straighten that front leg. Whoops. And then exhale, bring your hands in front and the hands behind and the hands in front. Place the foot back on the floor and come up. Yeah, good. How did you get on? Okay, we'll try that to the other side. Yeah, a little tip, if you keep your knees slightly bent, it makes it more possible, and then you can work into straightening the leg. Okay, so left foot forward, right foot back, squaring up our hips, bending that left knee, stretching through the back heel. Now rotate onto your back foot, get a nice stretch here as you do that. And then we're going to transfer our weight, walking in, transfer your weight to the front leg. You can have the hands behind you, then bring the hands in front. Straightening the leg if you can, behind you, in front, and coming down, bend the knee, come up. Good, and release. It's a hard stretch. If you align yourself properly, it's easier if you go out of alignment, but the way that we do it, we keep it into the alignment and it makes it harder. Well done. Okay, lovely. Right, let's just do wide leg now. So we'll take our chair or something to land on. We're taking our legs wide and hanging forward. So walk your hands in front of you. Let the tailbone slide up. And if you're against the wall, you can have your heels against the wall and see if you can make contact with your ear sit bones. They slide up the wall. So have your hands high. If you need to, you can use your chair. That's absolutely fine. Make sure you don't go on the floor unless you really are quite flexible. Otherwise, you just use your chair. And enjoy the feeling of the stretch in the legs. If you are quite far down, you can walk your hands in, let your head hang, bring your elbows parallel to each other. And then we can just walk the feet together a little bit. Hands on the hips. You can bend the knees to come up. Yeah. Great. So just to make the point that, you know, to do that pose right down onto the floor is asking quite a lot of your flexibility of the hip flexors and the hamstring. So it's absolutely fine. You just use a chair and you can get all the benefits and feel very supported, whichever height works for you, but with the legs wide apart. Okay, right, let's head down to the floor. So we're going to use our wee chair, have it handy. And also, we might want a couple of blocks. So we're going to kneel with the feet hip distance. So if you can get your feet under the chair, great. Mine is not ideal because so we're going to just bring our hands onto our chair. And all I'd like to do is just think about getting lovely and long in the spine. Now, if that's not possible for you to be kneeling, you can sit on the edge of your chair and just think about leaning but getting an open chest. So you can get a lot of the benefit from a sitting position. So you don't want to be sitting too far into the chair because you need a bit of space to lean back. So open the chair. If you're all right with kneeling, and if that feels okay, you can walk away a little bit. So now, what you need to think about, this bit, Hazel, is if you had blocks in front of your knee, you want to have your pubic bone in line with that. So at the moment your hips are further back. Hazel, you need to bring your hips forward. A bit more. Yeah, and then you may find that you need to walk back a little bit. So you're not overstretching in the shoulder. Lovely. Breathing. And then if that feels okay and you'd like to try going lower, you can have your blocks walk further away. And you can aim for your blocks. Yep, watch your hips. Hazel, they come forward, they come back again. Keep your hips in line with the knees. Nice. Okay, and then we're going to do the pose of the child from there, if you can. So we're bending forward, and you can land on a block if you like. And if you're not kneeling, if that's not possible to kneel, then you can sit on your chair and then just let yourself hang forward on your chair. So you get all the benefits of the child's pose, really letting your head hang. Letting your head, letting your arms relax. Okay, so we'll go into working again. Do that one more time. So if you're doing it from kneeling, then go back again. If you're doing it from sitting, you want to get on the edge of your chair and catch. And then what you're thinking of doing is bringing the sternum, Kirsten, to point to the ceiling. So you're really opening the chest, bringing the sternum to point up. So you're leaning back, just whatever you can manage. squeezing the shoulder blades together. That's it. And then those of you that are using blocks can go again. And then we're coming up. So either leaning forward on your chair, Kirsten, just hand forward on your chair, or if you're doing the pose of the child, you can have your forehead supported if your forehead isn't wanting quite to go to the floor. And you'll find with the pose of the child, you kind of soften into it, and then your head drops lower. You can take the block away. And really softening into that, feeling your rib cage connecting with the tops of your thighs. Lovely. And then staying down in the pose of the child, or if you're sitting on the chair, you can do this from the chair. We're just going to take our left arm and just slide it through. So you're getting a little stretch on the shoulder. And if you're doing that from the chair, you can just do something similar. Yeah, great, that's it, Chris. And then let's change side. So we're taking our right hand, slide it through. Lovely, and release. Great, okay, so from there, we are going to, well, I don't know if you can do this, Kirsten, we're going to go into sitting between our heels, using height, as much height as you need to make that possible. Now, if that's not possible, you can just stay with sitting, because we're going to do some arm work and you can do it just as well sitting. But for those of you that can, if you find a way to sit between your feet, so that when you make a fist, you can get your fist between your heel and your thigh. And you want your knees towards each other. So if that's not working for you, then you can just have any sitting position that does work. And we're going to take our belt and reach up with the right hand, drop the belt down. So as I say, you can do that from the chair. You just make sure you're not too far back on the chair, so you've got room to get your hand down. And then the left arm is going to catch. Now don't catch too tight so that you end up doing something like this. You want to keep your spine stacked, and that right elbow points to the ceiling, the left elbow pointing down as much as you can. And then from there you can work down if there's some spare movement, but don't stress your body in order to catch more. Now, where either your hands will be touching and you'll feel the point between your shoulders, or you may feel it on your belt. But you want to get a feeling of taking the vertebrae between your shoulders. It's almost like you're trying to bring it forward onto your sternum. And at the same time, let the back waist go back. So we're not hollowing in the back. That's lovely, Sarah. Yeah. Breathing, keep the head in line, Ruth. So don't push your head forward. That's it. Keep that back waist moving back. Breathing. Yeah, good, Richard. Lovely, nice. Kirsten, yeah, that's it. Trish, wonderful. Okay, and then release. And we'll change side, and as we change side, be aware that you might need to give yourself a bit more belt on one side than the other. So we're bringing the other arm up, left arm, and we're having that elbow as much as possible pointing to the ceiling, and we're going to reach up with the other hand. So you're pulling against your belt. Yeah, that's it. Trish, just keep your shoulder down. See if you can get your elbow back a little bit. Breathing. Breathing. Check that you haven't brought your waist, let the back waist settle. So you're kind of dropping into your sit bones. And that, even if you're just sitting on the chair, just think about dropping into your sit bones and taking the shoulders away from the ears. So you're feeling that in the upper back, not in the lower back. And release. Nice. And then just ease out wherever you feel that. So now we'll take our right foot forward, keeping that left leg where it is, and we'll just take our belt. So if you're sitting on the chair, just bring your right leg forward and catch around the chair. Sitting up really tall, sending that heel away. It's going to transfer onto the wobble cushion. You may not need anything under you, but you want to try and keep your hips on the same level. Okay, now so keeping lovely and straight, then let go with the belt, but keep the straightness. Bring the arms up, hook your thumbs, reach up to the ceiling, and then exhale, kindly reach forward and touch your toes. If not, just touch where you can on your knee. And then we're going to see if we can fold our tummy onto the upper thigh. Some of you can let your head go down. Sliding the forehead down towards your foot, to your right foot. Lovely, and then to come up, lengthen the crown of the head so you come up nice and tall. Great, and then we'll go back into both knees and we'll swap. So we're bringing our left leg forward. Good. Change the angle of, you don't I need a little assistant to do that. Right, okay, so we've got our left knee, our left leg long. Just check that you've got a gap between your heel and your thigh. So if you're sitting, just bring your left leg forward, hook your belt. Sitting really tall. So you're thinking of your sit bones going down, your lower abdomen coming in towards your spine, and the back of the waist moves back. So you're not pushing, you're not hollowing from here. You're not hollowing from the lower abdomen. Now, keeping that lovely straight spine, let go of your belt. Hook your thumb, and this time change the hook to the one that feels weird, because that's the one you didn't do last time. And then see if you can take the backs of your hands back so you're getting a really lovely chest opener. This is nice for you, Kirsten. If you're sitting on your chair, you can think about bringing the backs of the hands back, opening the chest. And then hinging forward, if you can, get your hands on your feet or just wherever, and just feeling that stretch coming in the back of the leg. Trying to lift up out of your hips so that the abdomen is aiming for your the top of your thighs. And just let yourself hang forward. Just noticing the difference on each side. Doing one leg forward bends helps you to notice which leg is tighter and where. So if you're sitting, just have your hand where you can reach and get a feeling of hanging forward from that sitting position. Kirsten, you can have your hands on your knee. Yeah, you may want to sit further back on your chair to make sure you feel secure. And then to come up, we're going to lengthen the crown of the head towards the foot. So we come up with a lovely straight spine. And then we're going to sit on the floor now with our legs straight out. So you can sit on the floor if you've got knee problems, because we're not bending them just now. So you can have something propped up underneath you, and let's try that now with both legs. You can use our belt, and you can lean back if you need to get lovely straight legs, straight spine, and thinking about that lower abdomen coming in and up. Send the heels away. Now for some people that's quite hard work on the legs, so you can lean back more to make it slightly easier. So if I show you sideways, we're looking to have a stacked spine. So if you're finding yourself doing that position, make sure you're propped up on something, but also you can lean back like that, so you can make the angle less steep between the legs and the body. I mean, eventually we're looking for that 90-degree angle, but initially you may find it's more realistic if you're over 100 something. Okay, so now stay with the belt if your legs are quite tight and that's feeling quite hard work. Just stay with the belt, but the rest of you keep lovely and tall. Let go of your belt, and we're going to clasp our hands together. Push the hands away, stretching the inner ankles, taking a breath in, and as we exhale, see if you can catch around your feet. So this time we're doing forward bend with both legs. So the same idea is we're thinking about laying the tummy on the top of the thighs. Nice. And if your hamstrings are not up for that, then just go work with where you feel that you can get a nice stretch. You can soften into it with your breath, but you're not, your body's not going into that brace position, which, as I've explained, is counter what we're trying to do. Yeah. Lovely. And then coming up again. Good. So this one I'd like you, if you can, to just take your feet, both your feet, to the left hand side, and you will need to prop up your right hip onto something. Now if this is not a good one for you to do with your knees, then you can just do the same thing but with legs wide. You can just sit with legs wide, propped up as high as you can. So if you can, if you're fine with that. So we've got our feet going to the left. We're taking our left hand and then we're going to put it under the right thigh and we're going to turn to look over our right shoulder. Now this is where your belt might be handy because you might need to put your belt around your right knee to hold, have something to hold in order to get your rotation. But if you're doing this with legs wide, then you're just going to turn to look over the right shoulder. So you're still getting that, you're getting the twist. So let's just think about the back waist, that we're not over hollowing. Keep turning every exhalation. Can you go a little bit more round to the right? Breathing. Nice. Okay, so we'll change side now. So either we're switching the legs, so our feet are going to the right, or we're going to just have our legs wide, and this time we're going to turn to the left. So if we've got our legs to the right, we're taking our right hand, we're putting it underneath that left thigh, and then we're turning to look over that left shoulder. Just check that you're not over hollowing. Good. Nice, Hazel. Keep the back waist back. And if you find that the leg seems a bit far away, you can use your belt and clasp your belt and get that turn. But if you can do it with your hand, it gives you a good stretch on the hand, which is quite nice. So taking that back waist back. Shoulders away from the ears. Every exhalation, can we turn a little bit more? Nice, and then release. So some of you might feel that quite strong, that stretch on the hands. So we can just give our hands a little shake. We don't often get a chance to stretch our hands, and especially those of you that are using computers a lot, our hands can get a little bit stiff through lack of variation of movement. Right, okay, so this next one also I'm afraid involves knees. So if you can I'm going to give you a choice how to do it from the floor, but if for those of you that are okay with going on your knees, let me just show you first and then I'll show the variation. So we start off kneeling and we're bringing that right knee in front of the left knee. We're taking our heels apart and we're going to sit between the heels. Now we may need to sit on something, but you've got one heel here and one heel here and your bottom's in between your heels. So if you're doing that from the floor, you can lie on the floor and we're just going to cross the legs like you might cross them if you're sitting on a chair, and you're just going to catch hold of your ankles and just bring your knees towards your chest. So that's the alternative position for people who are not going to who don't want to put weight on their knees like that. So we've got our right knee on top, holding the knee and just sitting up really tall. Already you might feel that in one hip. I can feel it in the top hip, the right hip. Sit up really tall. We're taking our right arm up and reaching to catch. So if you're doing that from the floor, you're lying on the floor and you're just hugging your knees. You're crossing your knees and hugging the knees to your chest. So we're all fine, good. Breathing. Lovely. Now take the hands away, and this time let's clasp them behind the back and squeeze the shoulders together. Now if that's too tight for you, then you're going to take your belt and just hold the belt and push the belt away so you can get that same squeeze, same opening of the chest. But those of you that can catch the hands, then do beautiful. So begin to think about bringing the tummy over the thighs at the same time as keeping the hands back. You can use your belt around your knees, John, if you want to pull your knees closer, if that helps. And then we're going to take the arms out to the side and start to go lower. So you're pressing down onto your thighs, and if that's okay, you can just find a position of your hands that feels good for you, and just let your head drop. Lovely, and then coming up. It's quite strong in the hips, but it's a really nice one for getting into kind of deep tension that we don't tend to release very often. So we're going to change legs. So if we're doing it the frisky way, we come forward, undo our knees, and then take that left knee in front of the right knee and sitting. If you're on the floor, you're just going to change the cross of the leg. So bringing your knees in front, bring your left knee in front of your right knee. And don't forget, if you're on the floor, just make sure that you've got something under your head if you need that. And you can also use, because you're trying to catch your feet and pull your feet forward. But if that's a bit awkward, you can use perhaps your belt around the foot that's harder to catch, to give you that ability to pull your feet towards your body, and that gets that same effect of getting into that left hip. So those of us that have got that left hip in front, we're going really lovely and tall. Sitting on something if you need. Just working these heels out a bit away from your hips so that you can feel it more strongly. Get the height, and then we're taking left hand and then bringing the other hand under. Now again, you can use your belt to catch if you need to, and especially if you've got anything going on with your shoulders. Breathing, shoulders down. Nice, and then we're taking our belt to squeeze the shoulder blades together, or if we don't need to, we'll just clasp. But change the clasp, so whichever little finger you had on the outside, you'll change it. If you can't remember, if you do it without thinking and then change, and that'll be the one that you didn't do. So we're opening our chest really tall, long in the spine, and we're beginning to see if we can fold our tummy onto the front of our thigh. So we're not diving the head down, it's all happening from the hinge. So you'll feel that in your left hip. That's nice, Victoria, yeah. And straighten the arms if you can. And then from there we're letting go. Bend a little bit more. As you press down onto your thigh, you'll feel it more in the hip. Well, you might do, some of you might. And then we are going to just find a comfortable position. I find it helps to have a block under one arm, because you're a bit lopsided with this, and in order to keep stable. And just softening down, letting the weight drop into your leg. Softening into that stretch in that left hip. Those of you on the floor, just, yeah, you can see if you can pull your feet a little bit closer. Nice, and then gently coming back. Okay, lovely, and then we're going to head for the floor. And again, we've got a pose which we're going to break down into levels. So we'll start off with the one that's that's not, I hasten to say less easy, because for everyone, whatever level you're on, I know everyone works to their capacity. So so what we're doing is we're lying on the floor, we're going to bend our knees and just bring our knees up. And we want to make sure that we keep neutral spine. So first of all, if you need to have something under your head, then just pop something under your head so that the nape of your neck stays long and you're not shortening your neck. And then we can just take the hands on the knees and then just push, let the arms go straight so your knees are further away. And then engage your core to hold that, hands on the floor, and as we exhale, we're taking the knees over to the right. And as we inhale, we're pulling the knees towards our chest, bringing them back, and then exhale, bring the knees closer to your chest and let them go over to the left. Lovely. Inhale up and exhale down. Now, if that feels a little bit too stressful on your, keep going, most of you keep going, but if that feels a wee bit stressful for you, then you can take your feet down and put a block between your knees, and then you can just do the same thing, but keep your feet on the floor. So exhale to the side, inhale, scoop to come up, exhale, go to the left, inhale, scoop, exhale, go to the left. So with the feet on the floor would be level 1, and then those of you that have got the feet up is level 2. So level 3 is we straighten the legs a little bit, and then we do the same thing, keeping the legs a little bit bent. And then if you're fine with that, you can straighten the legs. Now you're taking the arms out to the side, palms facing up, and exhale, we want to bring the feet to the hands, and then as we inhale, we come up. So bring the feet toward your face, exhale down, inhale up. Now this is hard, this is quite challenging on the core, and not just the core, but also obviously on your hamstrings. So just stay with this level, or if you are working on the floor, just stay with the floor. So let's do a few more. If you're up for it, 1, inhale up, bringing the thighs towards your tummy, down, 2 more, 1, 1, 2, 2, and release. And then we'll just all catch the knees and relax. Very good. Some of you managed that. It's very good core exercise, but yeah, it is not beginner's level by any means. So I hope you all found a level that suited you there. Okay, so from there we've got our chair. You can bring the calves on the chair, bring the right ankle in front of the left knee. And we're going to practice if we can. So you've got your right ankle in front of your left knee. Now it may be that that's going to be enough of a challenge for you, in which case stay with that. But if you want to get your back foot, which is your left foot, and bring it forward, whoops, onto your chair. I think a sofa is probably better. So that you're effectively doing a half lotus. Hold onto your chair to square up your legs. You may need to put something like a belt under the chair to get further away. Now I can feel that quite strongly in that right glute as I square up. And it's not simple because you're doing a lotus position. It's not just cross-legged, you're actually doing lotus with the foot up on the leg. So if you imagine if we change the plane here, we would be sitting straight with that top leg sitting on the bottom thigh. So see what you can do. See if you can bring that right knee back towards your chair. Breathing. Keep your shoulders nice and square. Breathing. So let's do 4 more breaths. Great, and then release. Just take a moment. So to go to the other side, remember we can just stop with that. So you've got your right leg on the chair and you can bring your left ankle in front of the right knee, taking that left knee back towards your chair. If that feels enough for you, you can just stay with that. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit, we're sliding that back heel and forward. Try and catch it on the chair. It's a little bit awkward. It might work better with the sofa, to be fair. Good. So squaring up our legs as much as we can. This is quite an interesting little challenge in the hips. So we're relaxing as much as we can into that half lotus position. Breathing. And then release. Lovely. And then we're just going to roll onto one side and come into sitting. And you can prop yourself up if you like. And if you're slightly propped up, and just see if you can repeat that position. So this isn't just cross-legged, it's bringing one foot up on your thigh. If your knee is giving you any problem, then bring that knee up. If that's not happening for you, don't worry, just go into cross-legged. I'm just going to sit for a moment, really tall. And you probably won't feel it as much in the hips when you do it this way, but the other way it's kind of showing you where the hips need to soften to help you to get into this position. I feel it on my knee in this way, but I didn't feel it on the knee there, I felt it in the hips. Okay, let's try the other way, so just straighten the legs. And if you can, we're bringing that left ankle on top of the, left ankle on top of the right knee. And stretching up. Yeah. Get yourself nice and tall, John. Prop yourself up so that you can sit as comfortable as possible. And notice the difference between one side and the other. Lovely. So just find the side that, or if that's not comfortable for you, just go into a comfortable sitting. You can go back up on a chair if that works. We're just going to take a few moments to breathe before we finish. So we're thinking about, as we breathe in, to breathe in through the crown of the head, taking the breath right through the body and exhaling down through the root, through the base of the body, through your lower vertebrae. And then as you inhale, we're going to breathe up through the root, up through the floor, and then as we exhale, we take the breath out through the crown of our head. So basically just getting that flow through our spine. So I'm going to shut up now and let you do that. We'll take a few breaths to do that. Lovely, and then we'll bring our hands together so we can finish together. Great, beautiful. Lovely, thank you all so much.